Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Motive Racing, or your GTE division is sorry, I do apologise. The GTE Championship is back for another week on Monday nights as usual, and we have got lots of action lined up for tonight. Across three tiers. First of which is going to be the tier 2 guys out in front of the track, out on track in front of you at the moment. We've got tier 3 and 1 coming up in an hour's time, but this is where it's at the moment. Currently watching M28 Meto coming up towards pits. I think it's not going to be a first flying lap. I'm going to try and keep an eye and see which of these guys. 28 there. Emo guy looks like he's a little bit further up on the track. He should be, I think, one of the first guys to set a lap time. We've got Robbo Baggins here, currently P2 on the classification. He's just coming over now. We've also got Juby out on track tonight. Rompu sporting the Porsche 912 as well. We've got Osdemus making his debut tonight. Osdemus, one of the quicker guys on Project Cars to race with us before on the GT3s. I've seen him in squeeze divers rooms a few times. Some of you will know he's Monza GT3. He's a very, very quick driver when I've raced him in that, and I have no reason to believe that he's not as quick and as skilled in everything else here on this game. But obviously time will tell us the answer to that. Osdemus currently driving the 488 GTE, just coming through towards the final sector now. I think this is possibly might be a flying lap for him. Let's keep an eye out and see what goes on. But Emo Guy is going to be the first man to set a lap time here. Our Flying Scotsman exits the last corner now. The Evil Scotsman is also another nickname of his, driving the Black Ford GT tonight. Let's see what Ian can do here as he comes up towards the line. It's a very, very long pit straight here at Fuji, almost a mile long. You hit top speeds of around 170, 180 miles an hour before heavy braking into the tight right-hand first turn. It looks like Imogai comes over in a 1 minute 39. Osdemus comes over 3 seconds faster actually. So Osdemus really setting their marker at the moment. What a lap time there from him. Looks like M28 Mito comes over a second and a half off of that pace that we saw there from Osdemus, splitting those two. Emo guy looks like he's now fourth of the current pack who've done their lap times. We've got Mitowski over the line, 2 seconds off of pole position. Nice time there from him. Still a little way off of the provisional pole time at the moment, but still plenty of time left to go in this session. We're not even halfway through this qualifying session yet, and plenty of time still coming in. We've got Dark Ninja coming over in a 1 minute 38.7. Very, very handy stuff there from him. But Osdemus there doing an absolutely fantastic lap time out, pulling it out of the bag at the start of the session, and I'm sure that we'll be seeing the times come down as the session progresses as well. The track's going to improve, and as it gets more and more rubbered in, these guys will get more confident with the tyres and their engine temps, and we're just going to see some constant improvements, I think, throughout this session. Looks like Osdemus has got some traffic in front of him. That looks like it's Emo guy there, although they are both on flying laps, so Emo guy under no obligation to allow Osdemus pass. Here they come, they're going to exit the last turn. Osdemus looks like he's going to gain an advantage out of this because he's got some slipstream here from Emo guys. They come up down the pit straight towards the line. He will be on the inside of the Ford GT as they come over the line to complete this flying lap. And Osdemus improves his lap time once again, 1 minute 36.1. Some formidable lap times here. Emo guy comes over in a 1 minute 38.1. He's 2 seconds off of that bench pace that we're seeing here. 7 seconds off of pole in P2 at the moment. Let's see what he can do here. Exits last turn, very clean. Stuck the Chevy at the moment, driving the Corvette. Here he comes over the line. What's it going to be for him? It looks like it's a massive improvement, but it's not going to be enough to put himself on pole. 7/10 currently off of the pace setter's time, which is still Osdemus. Looks like M28 Mito is coming out of the pits to do another outlap. He'll probably get a couple of chances to do a faster lap. Currently it's at 1.9 seconds off the pace. P3 in his session at the moment. Emo guy has got Osdemus just ahead of him on the track. Be interesting to see if Osdemus is on a personal best this time around. We're not going to get news on that until we get to the end of this flying lap. Looks like a nice exit there. And Ozimus, as I said, making his debut here at Motive Racing. So he's going to be wanting to burst onto the scene with all the credentials in the world. Here he comes over the line now, and it's another improvement. What a lap there from him. Emo Guy also improving up to third place with a 1 minute 37.6. But Ozimus, first man into the 35s tonight. Robbo Baggins just trying to warm his tyres up here. You can see trying to get some heat into his brakes and hoping that he can get that car in its prime for what's probably going to be one more run here at pole position. Currently sat a second adrift of our provisional pole sitter. Looks like Matowski's put himself up into P3. Only second and third in qualifying here for round 2 of Motive Racing's GTE Championship here at Fuji Speedway in the land of the rising sun. Looks like Matowski keeping it front row here, driving the white Ford GT. What's M20 method? Only can't go any faster for the time being. Who's this? DJ Phil. Let's see what DJ Phil can do. Currently sat P9 in this session. Can he go quicker? He does go quicker by 11 thousandths of a second, but it's not enough to move himself up in position. Stays P9 for the time being, driving the Beamer. Here is Rompu coming up towards the line. Let's see if he can go any quicker here. Currently P10 in the Porsche, and he can go quicker, but not enough to move himself up. Stays P10 at the moment. There's somebody coming over the line in the background here. We've got Robbo Baggins coming up towards the start. Yeah, he was indeed. That's not an improvement there for him. Emo Guy coming over to start his final run of the session. Looks like Ozimus has got himself out on the track, so he's going to try and go even quicker here at the end of this session. Currently showing these boys how it is done tonight. I believe this is an outlet. And Mitowski has just put it on provisional pole. Where did that come from? He's been sat in down out of the bag, puts it on a top spot. He's going to have one more chance to try and go even quicker here. Can Ozimus improve or respond on his final run? This is going to be an absolutely fantastic end to this qualifying session here. Mitowski and Ozimus separated by 10th of a second. Mitowski pits, so it's all down to Ozimus now, or maybe even Robbo Baggins or Dark Ninja, who's moved himself into 4th place here. In the 0.3 quicker, and he comes up towards the final couple of turns now. What is he going to be able to do here in the dying knockings here of this qualifying? Less than 10 seconds on the clock. This is going to be his last run of the session here. Lights on. Well, and he's going to be foot to the floor here as he comes up towards the line. Somebody in the background there behind him. Line after the clock stopped, and it's an improvement, but it's not enough to move himself up a position. Stays P4 at the moment. Looks like Robbo stays third. He went a fraction quicker at the end there. Ozimus is out there on a lap. Currently P2, held provisional pole for most of this session. Mitowski nicking it away from him just a couple of minutes ago. Can Ozimus fight back here into the last turn? This is now the pressure point of this lap. P2 in the qualifying session, making his debut, as we said earlier on, in the fourth. Mitowski. This is it, and he does. Fantastic job there. 0.2 of a second quicker than Mitowski. Ozimus is going to be your pole sitter here for the Tier 2 race for round 2 of Motive Racing's GTE Championship tonight at Fuji Speedway. This is going to be an absolutely phenomenal race. It was nip and tuck between those guys, Ozimus and Mitowski, for the entirety of that session, but ultimately Ozimus coming out on top, delivering the goods when it mattered, and he's going to be reaping the benefits and starting with a clear track in front of him in about 2 minutes' time for the Tier 2 race tonight. Stay tuned. It's going to be a half-an-hour race with no mandatory pit stop. It's going to be a simple straight race to the finish. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back on in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we're less than a minute away from the start of the round two for Motive Racing's GTE Championship at Fuji tonight. We've got a stellar card lined up for you. We've got Tier 2 in front of your very eyes at the moment, about to get going for our race here. Half an hour race without a mandatory pit stop. Simple race to the finish. And then we've got Tier 3 coming up at 8 alongside the main event, which is going to be our Tier 1 guys. It's going to be a sprint and a feature race with 2 qualifying sessions. It's going to be a very, very tough evening for everyone involved, but it should be some fantastic action here on the Motive Racing channel. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. We're almost about to get going here at Fuji. And we are lights out, and it looks like a fantastic start there from Robbo Baggins. Gets a perfect jump, almost a little bit of contact there with Mitowski as he came by. Looks like Mitowski getting a little bit bogged down off the line. Austin, he breaks a little bit late to turn up, runs a bit wide. Looks like we've got contact in the background. Who is that? Lots and lots of cars going into each other. Looks like John Marino guy also involved in there. Very unfortunate to see those guys coming together, but Dark Ninja looks like he's somehow managed to get into the lead here. He's looking to the outside of Robbo Baggins. They both go a little bit wide. Robbo Baggins is back up into the lead of Osnimus down to P3. It looks like, oh no, M28 Mito's into the wall. M28 Mito, oh no, that will definitely be the stewards. Definitely going to take a big look at that, because M28 seemed to just drive across the track into Drummer there. Very, very unfortunate for Drummer getting caught up in M28's accident there, but in the meantime we're watching Robbo Baggins with a clean slate at the front. He's got 0.8 of a second here to Mitowski. Dark Ninja trying to fend off our second place on the qualifying man. Oh my goodness me, look at how late Osmus went on the brakes there, trying to avoid Mitowski as he was getting the car stopped, and he's trying to hold on the inside here of Dark Ninja. Not making it easy for him, but it looks like Ultimus is up into P3 here. Great racing here on the opening lap. Battle between these guys really is heating up. Juvie now trying to get onto the back here of Dark Ninja as they come up towards the last turn. But Robbo Baggins here getting a very, very nice first lap. It wasn't the best jump off the start for him, but the chaos that ensued in the first couple of corners on these cold tyres definitely helped him out a little bit. Robbo Baggins currently in the box seat here as we come over to complete lap 1. We've got Mitowski currently P2. He's got Osnimus for company here. The battle between P2, 3, 4 and 5 looking very, very close. Let's ride on board with Juvie and see what he's seeing coming into turn 1. You can see there in the foreground you've got Mitowski trying to defend from Osnimus as they come onto the brakes, and it looks like Dark Ninja's got a little bit deep into turn 1. Juvie could have tried and fancy his chances here as they come up the run between turn 1 and 2, but it looks like Dark Ninja a little bit too far ahead for Juvie to go for a move for the time being. He's going to hold position and stick where he is, as we see Dark Ninja almost going off onto the run up there, maximising the track on the exit, which you've got to do if you want to get the best possible line through there and make up the most possible time. These guys will have heavy fuel tanks at the moment. They're going to have to be careful. You see a little bit of a lock up there from Dark Ninja coming through turn 4, and Osnimus is now really, really hassling the back of Mithouse. Guys are going to be losing time to our race leader. We saw these two, Mitowski and Osnimus, were dominant in the qualifying. He's got the credentials to take the fight to these guys in the race. Currently with a 2-second lead out the front, and while these guys battle it out, that lead is only going to increase as we see Osnimus looking right, looking left, still unable to get past Mitowski for the time being. Mitowski defending very, very wisely here in the opening couple of laps. And we see almost Osnimus going for a dive, and he's lost the car almost, and has actually had a half spin there, losing a lot of time to Mitowski. You saw him go for a half-hearted move up the inside of the last turn, and in the end backed out of it, slammed the brakes on, and came to a shuddering halt. He's now falling back into the clutches here of Dark Ninja and Juvie as they come to the end of lap 2 of this race. Very interesting stuff so far. It looks like Robbo must be counting his blessings at the moment. Mitowski, though, now without the pressure of Osnimus from behind, will be able to put his foot down and concentrate on what's ahead of him without having to worry too much about what's behind him here. Osnimus has fallen back towards Dark Ninja. We know that obviously Osnimus does have a pace advantage on Dark Ninja, but one more little mistake from him, he might... Osnimus making his debut here at Motive Racing, so the pressure is on him to perform, and it does look like Mitowski's... Oh my god, what's happened to Mitowski? Mitowski's had an absolute mare. He's lost positions to Osnimus and Dark Ninja. Didn't see what happened there. He was running a second and a half behind the leader, Robbo Baggins, but he's dropped it by the looks of it between turns 1 and 2. and now down to 4th place. Just as I was saying that Osnimus could be at risk of finding himself down in the mid-pack, Mitowski has found himself in exactly that position behind Dark Ninja. It looks like he's going to try and get past him though. Juvie right up his chuff as well. As we see, it does look like Mitowski going a little bit wide there, and surely Juvie's going to fancy his chances. He's going to look to the inside, a bit of a lock up there from Juvie as he tries to avoid putting himself up the inside there. But Mitowski looking a little bit shaky now all of a sudden, as we see him go very wide there out of the last turn. You're going to see side by side here, Juvie trying to pull alongside. You can see the it's going to be Ford power here down the pit straight. They've got another Ford just in front of them as well, in the shape of Dark Ninja. It does look like Mitowski doesn't quite have the straight line speed advantage that he would ideally like here over Juvie. Juvie's still sticking with it and still there, and it looks like he's up the inside and into P4. Great stuff there from Juvie, opportunistically putting himself into the position. Mitowski now struggling and losing time to the top two guys, Robbo Baggins and Osnimus. In the meantime, Robbo has stretched out his lead, but last time around, Osnimus was actually half a second faster than Robbo. So Osnimus showing that he's not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination. Still a long way to go left in this tier 2 race, and obviously plenty of action left to be had. We'll just have a look here now at Dark Ninja, who's got Mitowski a second behind him. Dark Ninja was obviously new to Motive Racing League as of last week. He's racing in, I think this is the only category he's racing in here at Motive, the GTEs, and he raced with me in an old league of mine actually. So I know he's always pleased, very fair, and he's a lot quicker than he's improved a hell of a lot. Also, since I used to race with him as well, his pace is light years ahead of what it was to begin with. He's always a very enthusiastic racing fan, and tries to get into everything that he can. But it looks like he is trying to fend off Mitowski here. Mitowski now within half a second. But then just going to have his hands full if he wants to keep onto this podium spot here. Obviously still over speed though, I'll give him that, but Mitowski now in the slipstream. You can see the closing speed there as they come over the start finish. Mitowski looking to the inside. Is he going to go for a lunge? He thinks better of it in the end. Looks like Mitowski went a little bit late on the brakes. They had to duck back in to avoid any shenanigans. But it does look like at the time being, Dark Ninja defending very nicely indeed. Let's have a look back through the pack and see what's going on further back. Trying to fend off Rompu and Mito. Let's run on board with Mito actually, because he looks like he has got the best seat in the house in this little scrap. You can see 3 cars all within a second of each other, and these guys are dropping back from Emo Guy at the moment. He's currently running in P6. Emo Guy actually, interestingly, is closing in on Juvie. As we see there, it looks like DJ Phil going very wide, and now Rompu's going to go alongside him here. It looks like DJ Phil's feeling the pressure a bit from having 2 guys right up his chuff, and you can see that side by side here up towards the chicane. We're going to ride on board with Mito. He's seeing what you guys are seeing, and we've got DJ Phil going late on the brakes, defending his position very nicely indeed. And oh no, Mito's lost it. Mito spun the car there. That's a real shame. He was probably sensing an opportunity there with those guys battling, but he's lost the car. He's now fallen back into the clutches of Drummer, and he will have to go again and try and make up that gap that he worked so hard to close in. But Rompu and DJ Phil still battling this one out here for 7th race. Let's see what Judy's doing. He's still just behind Dark Ninja, but still unable to find a way through. Mitowski's got past him, got past Dark Ninja. So Mitowski into some clean air once again. 7 seconds though behind the leaders, so it's going to be a tough one for Mitowski, our pole sitter tonight. No, sorry, hold on. He was second. I do apologise. He was second. He was on the front row alongside. Like shape there coming through turn 2, and then definitely Juvie going to sense an opportunity. These guys, nothing at all between them there. You could see barely a cigarette paper would have fitted between those 2 wheels as they came through there, but somehow keeping out of each other's way. Clean racing plenty here at Motive Racing. Guys, if you want to get involved, all you need to do is go to our Discord server. It's in our YouTube homepage, the top right hand corner. Click the icon in the corner, and that will take you your ticket to some of the best sim racing in the world, especially on the PlayStation 4 platform. We're currently still watching this battle between Dart on the corner, but Juby is going to have a look here coming into the final corner. He's going to go for a move. Can he commit up the inside? Looks like Dart Ninja gives him the space. Oh, Dart Ninja trying to undercut him on the exit. And in the foreground there, we can see that it looks like Mitowski's had a pretty good run this time around. He managed to get past Robbo Baggins. What's happened to Robbo Baggins? That is, oh no. Robbo Baggins was leading the race, and it looks like he's had a complete disaster there on that last lap. He's now dropped back to third place as we see Juby having another look to the inside there. Go again. Dart Ninja still fending him off. But Robbo Baggins, that is really unfortunate for him. He was leading the race, had a good start to this race, but it's all come undone here. He's now found himself behind Mitowski with 9-second lead at the front. So Pole Sitter back in the lead of the race, and Robbo Baggins now playing catch up here in this one. Real shame to see. Obviously, Robbo was had a perfect start to this race. Just seeing a message here from the producer, the only G, saying, "I don't know what's happened." I just had to. Is that about what's happened? What's wrong? What's wrong, Jay? Oh, it's still going. Yeah, yeah, it's still going. It's still fine. Yes, the stream's still perfect. But anyway, we're currently still watching Robbo here. Looks like Mitowski's pulled out that gap a little bit. Mitowski's now got it at 1.2 seconds between those guys. Yeah, gee, the stream's absolutely fine. No worries. But yeah, it's Robbo Baggins here, dropping a little bit of time to Mitowski that last time. Mitowski 4/10 of a second faster. Both of these guys losing time to the race leader, Osdemus, who is now driving off into the distance. Let's see here for Osdemus, pole sitter tonight, making his debut here at Motive Racing. Here he is. We're riding with him now, driving the 488. He's driven a very sensible race indeed here in this one. Didn't have the greatest of starts, but stuck with it. Was closing that gap to Robbo Baggins, and then Robbo Baggins unfortunately felt the pressure a little bit too much, made a mistake a couple of laps ago, and has dropped back down to third place. So Osdemus definitely in the box seat here for this race. Missed the round one, so he's gonna have to do some bits here in the rest of this season if he wants to get himself into a top 5 promotion spot to tier 1. But he's more than capable of it. It's going to be obviously a little bit more difficult having missed a round, but by the end of the season, I imagine that there will be a couple of guys who are going to have missed a round or two, and unfortunately, that is just the nature of sim racing. Obviously, real life always takes priority, so it's sometimes you do have to miss a race every now and again and miss out on some points. And championship challenges can devastatingly be derailed due to the complications of actual real life. But when they do, it's you just got to get on with it, dust yourself off, and go again. And I'm sure that as we see there, Mitowski getting a little bit sideways on the exit of turn 1, and Robbo Baggins now is going to have a chance. He's going to sense an opportunity. He's going to like a ravenous predator. He's going to sense his opportunity when he sees a weakened Mitowski just in front of him. He sees Mitowski going wide onto the exit of turn 2 and going a little bit wide through turn 3. Robbo very close now, less than half a second separating these boys, but it looks like Mitowski has weathered the storm for the time being. Looks like we've got a battle going on here for P5. Emo Guy has actually passed start. This is a fantastic battle here between P5 and 6. You can see Dark Ninja all over the back here of the Ford GT. He's in the slipstream, and Emo Guy goes a little bit wide onto the grass off the curb, and it looks like now there's surely an opportunity coming into the chicane. But Emo Guy, for the time being, very, very confident on the brakes and not allowing any way through, holding on to the position. Ian, wily old head, knows where to position his car in order to keep himself in the position. Very, very good driving there from him. But this is now looking like an incredibly close fought battle here for P5. Some very, very good points on offer for 5th. And both of these guys know it's going to do them no end of good if they manage to stay in these positions come the end of this race. We're half distance here, or half time should I say. It's a timed race here for Motive Racing's GTE Championship Tier 2 here, round 2 at Fuji. Leave a like on this video, join us on Discord at our YouTube homepage. In the top right hand corner is an icon saying Discord. Join us at that, become a part of the action. You see in front of you here, and we see there, it looks like we've got Dark Ninja looking to the inside once again into turn 1. Did he get it stopped in time? Yes, he did. Brilliant job on the brakes there from Dark Ninja. Up into P5. Emo Guy is going to try and stick with him here and fight back. I'm absolutely certain of that. But Dark Ninja doing a fantastic job. Very disciplined there. As he got the car, so as I say that, it looks like Dark Ninja's gone wide. Dark Ninja's spun out on the exit turn 2, and Emo Guy is back up into P5. Dark Ninja losing lots of time there. Had to reset the car, I think. I'm not certain on that. We'll have to get confirmation, but it did look like a reset. Which, oh dear. Anyway, let's gloss over that for the time being. We're currently watching Robbo Baggins, who is definitely piling the pressure now on Mitowski. So these guys will drop time once we hit the checkered flag at the end of this race. We're not exactly sure what the nature of these penalties are, but we will find out obviously when the end of the race comes. Looks like Dewey's in front of him, so actually Rob Ho losing a bit of time, but still Oslimus dominating this race at the moment. He's got a 12-second lead at the front, and is now running off into the distance. But a retirement from the race, that is a shame to see. I'm not exactly sure who that is, but we've lost the driver. We can see we did have 10 on the left. Being over half distance, I doubt that it was a quit out. I imagine it's probably a disconnection with over half the race completed. It would make no sense to quit out at this point in a race. With the points that are on offer here for completing our race, whoever did unfortunately clock out at that particular moment. As we're still, it looks like the field pretty strung out now. Oslimus has got an 11-second lead to Mitowski. It's another 3 seconds back to Robbo Baggins in 3rd. Then a couple of seconds to Juvie in 4th position. Emo Guy in 5th, 5 seconds behind him. It's a further 4 seconds back to Dark Ninja, who is currently sat P6 at the moment in this session, driving the Ford. DJ Phil. Let's talk about DJ Phil. DJ Phil is a radio presenter, 34 years old from the UK. He is a big fan of Motive Racing, always pops up on our streams. I believe his name is Radio Serene on YouTube, and he always chimes in on our streams and gives us lots of support. Also is one of our Tier 1 drivers in the Clio Cup and the GT3s. So he knows what it's like to compete at the top level here at Motive Racing. Racing in Tier 2 for the GTEs due to just the overall competitiveness. Of 3 tiers for these particular cars. But yeah, DJ Phil doing a great job here tonight. Currently sat in a very decent point scoring position, 7th place, driving the BMW. Difficult car to get right here in the GTEs. Obviously, he's going to be gaining a little bit down the end of this straight with the straight line speed of the BMW, but it's going to be struggling in the middle sector. I imagine it's going to be difficult to really get it working and find a setup that works perfectly. DJ Phil making it work tonight. Currently sat P7. Some very good points on offer. 17 points you get for a P7 7 to put it into. Basically, it just all ties into there's a bigger gap between first and second, and then the gap gets smaller and smaller as you move down. So 17 points for 7th, 14 I think for 8th that Rompu's in, and Drummer would also be picking up, I believe, 11 points for 9th place. So there's lots and lots of points on offer for these guys tonight. There's always the incentive to make sure that you get to the checkered flag, because if you retire the car, then you're not getting any points. So there's always a good reason to stick it out and keep going all the way until the end. These guys will know that all they've got to do is get their cars through to in their push to get into Tier 1 or their fight for survival in Tier 2, whatever it is, whatever their aim is in terms of the season. They know that it will help them no end. Currently watching Dark Ninja at the moment. He's sat P6 in this one. Currently 5 seconds behind Emo Guy. It looks like he's lapping pretty similarly to him, but unfortunately fell behind him to a point where he's now pretty much nowhere near him. But it's been a good showing from Dark Ninja tonight. Was running up in a podium spot in the early laps. Unfortunately had a couple of errors. We saw a reset on the Exo Guy at the moment, so it's not been the easiest of rides tonight, but relatively new to motive racing and a newbie to our GTE category tonight. No, sorry, to our GTE category this season. But currently looking at Emo Guy at the moment. He's lapping in the low minute 1 minute 39s, actually going slower and losing time to Juvie up ahead of him. Robbo Baggins still sat in our final podium spot. It'd be a fantastic effort from him if he can keep it where he is at the moment. Mitowski just 3 seconds up the road from him. And we've just got in reverse up the order, but Osmus, got to talk about him last. I mean, it's just been a flawless performance from him in this race tonight. Took pole position towards the end of the qualifying session in a bit of a cat and mouse game with Mitowski. In the end, managed to get on top. 0.2 of a second was the gap between pole and second place. But hasn't been close at all. It's been a one-man show here out the front, partly down to Mitowski's couple of errors earlier in the race, but it has been a flawless and dominant display here from this man so far. And we're into the final quarter here of this Tier 2 race. The field very, very spread out now. No one really battling. It looks like Robbo potentially could be closing that gap to Mitowski. Last time Mitowski was a fraction of a second faster than Robbo, but Robbo does look like he is generally closing that gap. Right on board with Robbo and see what he sees. See that Ford up ahead. Yeah, he's definitely closing on him now. At this point, I'd say he's within a second maybe. Slipstream, and there we go. Definitely gets a beautiful run out onto the pit straight. He might be a little bit too far back to go through into turn 1 for the time being. Mitowski was a fantastic straight line speed there. You can see pulling away despite Robbo having a slipstream, so Robbo's going to have to get it done in the middle part of the lap if he wants to get P2 here in this race. Both of these guys, I'll remind you, do have penalties, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the state of play. They will drop down the order to some extent once we hit the checkered flag at the end of this race. And it looks like we have had another retirement here. I'm not quite sure who that is, but somebody has decided that they would rather forfeit their points. I think that might be Drummer there, which is a shame. Actually, it does look like he was just... Oh no, he wasn't disqualified. No, that's from qualifying. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure there. Obviously, we will find out after the race. Maybe a disconnection from Drummer, possibly, coming into play there, which resulted in him no longer being participant. participating in this race. Wonder if Robbo Baggins can get onto the back. It looks like a little bit of lag there as he came through the second to last corner. Little bit of lag coming into there, definitely losing time here to Matowski in that section of the track. Obviously, we know that Matowski's got phenomenal straight line speed around this track. Making sure that we're all still systems going stream. Yes, we are indeed. That's all good. Thank you to everybody watching us live on the YouTube channel, guys. And if you like what you see here, be sure to slap a like on this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. We're currently watching Robbo Baggins here, who has, as a trend, been closing in on the back of Matowski. But last time around, he lost a lot of time. I think a minute 42, but he did not lose 5 seconds to Matowski. I was riding on board with him for the whole lap. He did not lose 5 seconds, so that must have been by the time we hit the checkered flag here at Fuji for Tier 2, Round 2 of our GTE Championship here, Motive Racing. But the story of today has been one man absolutely class of the field, and that man is Ozimus. He took pole position by only 2/10 ahead of Matowski. These two were stealing the fastest time of the session off of each other for the last couple of minutes. I think the top time changed about 4 or 5 times. But ultimately, he was the one who came out on top, and is justified why he was the man starting on pole at the start of this race. We have got 3 laps left to go here at Fuji for this one, and it is looking very, very good for him indeed. Matowski looks like he's pulled out a little bit of a gap here to Robbo on this lap so far. Not by masses, but certainly enough that he looks pretty comfortable here coming into the final 3 laps of this race. Juby sat P4 running all by himself at the moment. Emo guy has dropped off a bit. We've got Dark Ninja coming around in P6. Where's DJ Phil at the moment? DJ Phil's just coming on the exit of the chicane now. And Rompu looks like he is closing that gap on Phil, so this is one to look out for now. The battle for 7th and 8th is definitely looking heated at this point. But we're going to flick to this to Robbo Baggins and see what he's doing. Currently sat P3, more or less matching the lap times of Matowski. We see Matowski doing a 37.4 last time around, Robbo a 37.3, so half a tenth between those guys on lap 16 of this race. Really nothing at all separating them. Drummer there saying he wants to offer a huge apology. He misjudged his braking point in to turn 1, and yeah, so Drummer there just apologising for the incident on the first lap, causing the accident, and fair play to the guy for actually putting his hand up and apologising, admitting to his mistake. Obviously, I don't know if the stewards will be wanting to have a look at that, and maybe some kind of repercussions if there is indeed an inquiry raised. If not, then I guess it's his lucky day. But regardless, it looks like we are starting the penultimate lap here of this race. Ozimus currently with a 17-second lead. Matowski still P2, still holding off the challenge here of Robbo Baggins, and Juby looks like he's got Emo guy closing in on him now. To come down the pit straight, you can see the 4GT there in the background trying to pull onto the back here. Well, they're both 4GTs actually. The black 4GT of Emo guy trailing the red, white and blue of Juby. As we're now having a look back to see the battle here for 7th and 8th. DJ Phil trying to fend off Rompu if he can. Rompu's surely going to have a chance here in the slipstream as we come round to complete lap 17 of this race. On to 18, 2 to go here at Fuji for these two guys. But one man who hasn't got 2 laps to go is this man, Ozimus. He's coming around to start the final lap. As here he comes. one more time round for Ozimus in what's been a true dominant display here on his debut here at Boots of Racing. Fantastic performance from him. Can't take anything away from him. It's been almost flawless except for the first couple of laps where he had a bit of a shaky start off the line, lost a position into turn one, but made it back up, forced Robbo into a mistake and has not looked back since. Looks like Matowski now facing some heavy pressure here from Robbo Baggins. Robbo's going to sense that this is going to be his last opportunity to really make a difference and get himself what is going to be essentially 3 extra points if he does manage to get into second place. You get 30 points for second. Those 3 extra points within his grasp if he can just get past Matowski. If he can find a way through, if he can force him into a mistake or try and distract him in the mirrors, then he might be able to pick up P2 tonight. We just don't know. It looks like Matowski gets a little bit of a shaky exit coming out that corner, and now he's going to have a run here coming up towards the chicane. Is Robbo going to go for a move or a lunge up the inside, or is he going to go for something to get himself up into that position? Looks like Matowski is getting the car stopped very, very nicely. Little bit of a wobble on the exit as he got the accelerator down. And he's going to be feeling the pressure now with Robbo so close. It looks like Robbo gives him a nudge and pushes him wide. There's definitely contact between those two there. Robbo's up into P2. Saw the stewards might be having a look at that. Matowski definitely got pushed out wide. But Ozimus is going to take the win here at Fuji for round 2 in the Tier 2, making his debut and doing it very impressively. Ozimus is your winner tonight. Robbo coming round in second place after seemingly pushing Matowski out wide there, coming through the final sectors. So the stewards will definitely be taking a very keen interest in what happened there. Whether or not Matowski braked early or made his mistake, we'll have to wait and see. Potentially they could find in favour of Robbo, but it looks like actually Robbo loses second place anyway. Matowski picks up P2 because Robbo did have a larger penalty. Juby is going to come round in 4th position. Some excellent points there for him. Emo Guy, our regular commentator, coming over in 5th place. Dark Ninja 6th. Good showing from him tonight. Good points. DJ Phil and Rompu still battling it out here. Who's going to take 7th place? It's the battle between the BMW and the Porsche. Rompu all over the back of him, but DJ Phil defending like an absolute legend here. He goes a little bit wide there, coming through this corner. He's going to have Rompu looking to the outside, but can Rompu find a way past him? He's going to look left, he's going to look right, but he can't find a way through him. DJ Phil now just has to bring it through the last turn, and he's going to hold on here for this P7. Brilliant stuff here from these boys. They have been going at it non-stop for the last few laps, but DJ Phil is going to exit the final corner here at Fuji Speedway, and it looks like he's going to bring it home for 7th place. A very, very creditable performance here from our man here tonight. Racing channel. Great to see DJ Phil fighting it out there and holding on for 7th ahead of Rompu. Great battling from those guys, but it's going to be Ozimus taking the plaudits tonight by 28 seconds in the end ahead of Matowski and Robbo Baggins. Guys, what a race. And if you like what you see, please drop a like on this video. It really helps us out a hell of a lot. Subscribe to us on YouTube and join the fun on our Discord server. All you need to do is go to our YouTube homepage, click the icon in the right hand corner, which will take you to our Discord. Just click on the icon that says Discord, and that will take you straight there. Guys, we're going to flip to our Tier 1 stream. It's going to be a separate stream. This one's going to be ending now, and be sure to join us on that one. It will be going live any second.